Welcome to another installment of Deconstructing Babylon, where we discern the signs and symbols of the mystery religion of Hollywood Babylon. I'm the Discerning Clerk, and I use a biblical framework to deconstruct my favorite movies from the 90s.
Noticed your eyeglasses. They don't have any lenses in them.
They're my dad's. The lenses hurt my eyes.
For the month of December, I want to take a special look at popular Christmas movies. I know that Christmas is a very important holiday, or holy day, in the mystery religion. I know this because of how highly it's upheld in the Roman Catholic Church, and in turn, Hollywood Babylon, which is why we get so many movies about Christmas. Not just the story of Santa Claus, but the so-called spirit of Christmas. My last deconstruction of the classic Dickens tale, reimagined by Jim Henson's creation, The Muppet Christmas Carol, inadvertently told us that our salvation depends on what we do with Christmas apart from the Messiah. And that's like saying people are inherently good and our good works can get us into heaven. And none of that is true. Today's selection, The Family Man, speaks about the same spirit of Christmas and works without faith to save a man. Admittedly, The Family Man is not a 90s movie, as it was released in 2000, so it will not appear in the video movie guide. Instead, let's take a look at some IMDb reviews. One 10-star review comes from IMDb user BopDog and was written shortly after its theatrical release. This charming flick offers something much deeper than the cute patina of romantic comedy. It is pleasant and graceful and all of that. Notice I avoided the word cute. But it is also a dramatic comment on how many of us lead our lives. It's all about choice and the courage necessary to recognize ourselves for who we are. That is, it's about us facing the cold, hard truth about what we have chosen to be. Most of us have chosen some version of a disassociated, emotionally safe life. We live mostly as cliches of ourselves. The Family Man deftly and deeply explores that and what it would take to redo the whole thing. I found it inspiring as well as entertaining. I suspect there will be some Scrooges and Grinches out there who poo-poo it as sentiment or a treacly veneer. Since it's the Christmas season, weep for those poor unfortunates and be thankful that we, at least, can enjoy being fully alive, imperfections and all. Movies about love are hard to make. Movies that hit the right spot heart-wise often scare and annoy the plastic-figured modern sophisticates who then denounce it all. I say The Family Man hits just the right love button. Go see it. You'll be glad you did. Okay, I know that was a long review, but I think it's a wonderful example of how moviegoers used to write before AI. I will choose a shorter 1-star review. Karen128 writes, like the New York Times editorial page said a few weeks ago, this movie is like a cheap, prefabricated It's a Wonderful Life, but without the feeling or charm. The performers all seem to be trying to move us, but it just doesn't work. I found myself watching the background actors, looking at the sets, wondering who painted the bedroom, that sort of thing. Why a studio spent billions of dollars making this kind of generic, empty-calorie meal is an even greater mystery than the plot. And what a waste of that great actor, Don Cheadle. I doubt the studio spent billions, but anyway, let's just see what we see in The Family Man. The movie begins in an airport in 1987, where a young couple, Jack Campbell and Kate Reynolds, kiss goodbye in front of what looks like a cityscape of Manhattan.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
About the plane? You think it's gonna crash?
Stop it right now. It's too much predictive programming. Sounds of airplanes, New York City, talk of a plane crash, and the main character has the initials JC, which points to a false messiah. Kate begs Jack not to go to London, even though it's something they've already agreed on.
The plan doesn't make us great, Jack. What we have together, that's what makes us great.
Jack leaves anyway, and Kate is devastated. 13 years later, Jack is a wealthy bachelor living and working in Manhattan on Christmas Eve.
You think I like being here on Christmas Eve, Ellen?
Is he on Wall Street, an investment banker, another one, mergers and acquisitions? Whatever it is, he's working on a big deal, and he expects everyone else to be as laser-focused as he is. Jack receives a message to call Kate Reynolds, the woman he left behind all those years ago.
I almost married her.
You married?
Not only does Jack not return Kate's call, he doubles down on the workload in order to close his big deal. Jack steps into a small shop, the only one open on Christmas Eve. After him, Cash steps in to redeem his winning lottery ticket. The clerks feel threatened by Cash's exuberance.
No, you get out or I call 911.
Wow, another pointer to the fateful day in September 2001. Very suspicious. But the clerks have every right to call the police when Cash pulls out a weapon. Jack steps in to try to defuse the situation.
Do you want to die?
No. Look, I'm talking about a business deal.
Jack and Cash leave and walk through the snowy city streets with a glowing cross in the background. They have a curious exchange where Jack seems to truly want to help this potentially dangerous man, and Cash seems to know more than he's saying.
You just remember that you did this, Jack, okay? You brought this on yourself.
Jack goes home alone. He goes to bed alone, but when he wakes up, he is far from home and far from alone.
Jingle bells, Santa smells, Rudolph laid an egg.
Jack wakes up to a wife, 2 excited children, and a large dog. Now, what do we know about a dog in a movie? That's right, it's God to the director or associated character using the occultic law of reversal. This is a large, loyal breed, typically known as a family dog. Jack tries to escape the chaotic scene and runs into his in-laws. Jack takes the family minivan into the city, and we finally get an undeniable shot of the Twin Towers. He drives to his luxury apartment where no one knows who he is.
What is going on with you two this morning? Is this like a Christmas joke?
He tries going to the office. Surely someone there remembers him. But it is Christmas Day, a day typically used to stop working. A secular Sabbath, if you will.
Have a nice holiday, man.
While Jack is desperate to get some answers about this alternate reality, he runs into Cash, driving his Ferrari, wearing his designer suits.
This is a glimpse, Jack.
A glimpse? A glimpse of what?
Well, you're gonna have to figure that out for yourself, and you got plenty of time.
Jack has no choice but to return to the suburbs, and he has a hard time finding the family home. Eventually, a friend and neighbor brings Jack home, and Kate demands answers about why and where her husband went when he left the family on Christmas morning. Jack doesn't play along with the suburban lifestyle because he has no idea how to play along.
This isn't my house. Those aren't my kids. I'm not dad. I'm not a dad. You're not my wife.
When Jack wakes up the next morning, he hopes it has all been a bad dream and that he's back to his normal life.
You're not really my dad, are you?
Their young daughter, Annie, is very astute. She's cautious, but she isn't afraid, even though she believes it's a case of alien body snatchers.
Welcome to Earth.
Annie becomes a wonderful resource for Jack, helping him with the routine and daily dad stuff.
Hey, Annie, where do I go now?
Big Ed's.
Big Ed's Tires? Why?
'Cause you work there.
Jack learns in his alternate life that he isn't a successful investment banker, but he works with his father-in-law selling tires. The whole shop is decked out like a Hallmark movie. It seems out of place. But Jack is also out of place. He really thinks he's much better than this life.
Hey, Jack. Are you sure you're okay?
Well, I'm just a little confused right now about why I work here.
Some time passes, and Jack is stuck in this mundane, monotonous life.
It's sad to hear that your life is such a disappointment to you.
I can't believe it isn't a disappointment to you.
Kate has questioned Jack a few times about his strange behavior, asking him straight out who he even is, but in a facetious way. She's not quite as astute as her young daughter.
You forgot. You actually forgot our anniversary.
Of course he forgot their anniversary. This isn't her husband. This isn't even really happening. He's been body snatched or something. We get another shot of the Twin Towers when Jack takes Kate to the city to make it up to her. Jack has been honest with Kate all along as he's tried to navigate this strange situation, and he attempts, again, to tell her the truth.
I feel like I'm living someone else's life.
Kate confesses that she wonders what her life might be like if she wasn't married to Jack, living in suburbia, raising their kids. Typical grass is greener stuff.
My God. All this time, I never stopped loving you.
Time marches on for Jack, and he seems to accept his new life, his sales job, his meager salary. More than accept it, he grows to love it. Until one day, his old boss pulls into Big Ed's tires with a blowout. Jack tries to impress him, but all Peter Lassiter sees is a tire salesman from New Jersey. Jack brings Peter's repaired vehicle into the city, back to what used to be his office building. Jack is shown around by Peter, and they visit what used to be Jack's office. It's now occupied by Alan Mintz and resembles an infant daycare more than a corporate office.
Business is business. Wall Street, Main Street.
It becomes an informal interview for Jack, which he nails, frankly. He then tries to entice Kate to move to the city by showing her a fancy apartment, touting the private schools, and telling her about the huge pay increase.
Oh, this is the center of the universe. If I were living in Roman times, I would live in Rome. Where else? And today, America is the Roman Empire. New York is Rome itself. John Lennon.
Fascinating. A reference to Rome and the Beatles. But New York isn't Rome, despite what they think. Rome is Rome, and it never fell. It just changed forms and became the Roman Catholic Church. Kate rejects his ideas and plans, though Jack tells her it's important to him. The real Jack has always found his identity in his work and his ability to make money to support his lavish lifestyle. 2 months after being thrust into the family life, Jack finds a 13-year-old ticket stub, evidence that he did, in fact, fly to London, but quickly came back. Kate then tells him that despite her vision of growing old together in the suburbs, she is willing to uproot their lives and move to the city.
I'll do that because I love you.
There seems to be a direct correlation to him choosing her all those years ago and her choosing him now. But this life isn't permanent. It's not really his life, it's just a glimpse. And that comes back into focus when Jack runs into Cash again.
A glimpse, by definition, is an impermanent thing, Jack.
Jack knows his time as a family man is short, and he says goodbye to each of them in his own way. He fights sleep as if he knows he will wake up back in his old life, which he does, and it's back to Christmas Day. He races to the brick house in New Jersey, and his family isn't there.
Of course not.
Jack instead tracks down Kate Reynolds in the city, the same Kate Reynolds who called him in the beginning, and not the woman he's been married to for the last 13 years. When he arrives at her apartment, it's clear Kate is moving. I couldn't help but notice the name of the moving company is Crown Moving, and even more bricks at this place. Kate gives Jack a box of his stuff she's held on to all these years, including a copy of Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle, CC. Since C is the third letter of the English alphabet, this is another pointer to 33, the highest level in the Freemason secret society. Jack races to the airport to stop Kate from moving across the world.
Do you need closure? Because if you do, after all these years, you got it. I'm okay.
He pours out his heart, telling her about their suburban life together, their children, their dog, and most of all, their love for one another. Kate is convinced to not get on the plane right now, in direct opposition to the way Kate begged Jack not to get on the plane to go to London. The final image is Jack and Kate sitting in an airport lounge in front of a large window where the snow is falling outside. So, that had a lot of predictive programming, especially about 9/11, which we can only know from hindsight since it's already happened. Which is part of the reason why I like to deconstruct the symbolism in 90s movies especially, because they were giving us the signs all along. So why 9/11? What does it really mean? The Twin Towers in New York represent the twin pillars in a Freemason temple, the red and blue brothers Boaz and Jachin. Red and blue are important dual colors used often by the mystery religion, just like black and white. Red and blue can also represent sun and moon symbolism. Freemasonry, they tell us, is a Christian secret society based on biblical principles because they worship the gods of the wives of Solomon. But we know better. Brick is also a symbol pointing to the Freemasons, a symbol of their trade. The family house in New Jersey is brick, and Kate's apartment has a lot of brick, which made it seem like the brick was especially associated with Kate. 9/11, as I have come to understand, is quite probably the real birth of the Messiah, not December 25th. If he was not born in the spring around the Passover, it seems likely it would be around the fall feasts, such as the Feast of Trumpets, as the angels heralded his arrival. And the mystery religion loves to subvert the things of the Most High. The enemy loves to counterfeit his creation, and Hollywood Babylon loves to villainize Yahweh and confuse the audience about the truth. So 9/11 programming isn't just about that fateful day, but it does work to skew the day in our hearts and minds, and replace it with the false birth of what we call Christmas. So it shouldn't surprise us when we see this type of symbolism in a Christmas movie. It's still about duality. The Family Man is essentially a movie about duality. Surprisingly, we didn't see any mirror symbolism in this film, but Jack was basically two men. On one hand, he was the wealthy bachelor who only cared about work and money and luxury. He didn't seem like a tyrant as a boss, mostly just self-absorbed. On the other hand, he was a family man who had to learn how to sacrifice for his wife and children, but there was a fulfillment there too. He wasn't a tyrant husband or father either, just still self-absorbed. There seemed to be some comparison of The Family Man with It's a Wonderful Life, which is a totally different premise. Frank Capra's classic isn't about duality the way this is. There isn't two George Baileys, but there is two Jack Carpenters. And Clarence makes no bones about being an angel sent from heaven, whereas Cash, well, we just don't know where he's from, why he gives Jack this glimpse into an alternate life, or what he really is. I mean, it's implied that he's possibly an angel, given the presence of a cross when we meet him.
The way you intervened in that store last night, you did a good thing there, Jack. I mean, it was incredibly impressive, all the way across the board to the upper echelons of the organization.
But he tells Jack that he brings this on himself, that it's by his own choice he gets to see an alternate life. Yet Cash gives no guidance, no timeline, and no goal for Jack. There really isn't any hope for this glimpse because the children are completely imaginary. We know Jack is real, and Kate is real. The friends and neighbors could potentially exist in New Jersey, but Annie and baby Josh can only be real if they come from Jack and Kate, which is terribly sad. Where did these children come from? And what does Jack really learn from the glimpse? Other than maybe he should be with Kate? Maybe it was all a dream. As I briefly mentioned in the beginning, Jack's initials are JC, which tend to point to a false Christ. Jack isn't a savior, but he is a sent one. He doesn't save his family, he can't save himself, he has no lineage and no legacy. But Messiah was sent to be the savior of the world, not to save himself. Jack was sent to see an alternate life and make a different choice. Well, that's enough for today. Thank you for enduring to the end. Give the video a thumbs up if you agree and a thumbs down if you disagree. Comment below what you think I missed with this one and to suggest any 90s movie you'd like me to deconstruct in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this, but don't follow me. Follow the one who saves you. And until next time, keep looking up.
Wait a minute. Are you actually trying to save me?